Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome, you're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Well, I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness, so there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye formerly or now on this show. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end and special series. And it is Wednesday, as you can tell, because I have my beautiful Inside and Out co-host for this special series called Doctors in the House with myself and your microphone is
Dr. Tiffanie Tate. There we go. This is the new mic that you recommended. I don't know why it doesn't like me.
Oh, well, we're gonna have to figure out something. I think it's probably internal in your computer, is my guess, but we'll fiddle around with it. But so glad. I'm actually also, as you can see, a little bit not unstable, but a little bit stable. We're trying to get the main computer to come on. But hey, what's life without a little technologically opportunity for practicing what we teach, right? Adjusting. And let's start with breakfast. We're so happy that I see eyeballs coming into the cashew gallery already. Make sure you're not driving when you comment or give us your 8 cents worth, but we love when there's back and forth and involvement, especially during breakfast that I have with my co-host and you all. And what breakfast constitutes is top of the bun is, what are you grateful for outside of yourself? So things that you appreciate about life around you. And then the bottom of the bun, which we're modeling for you before you go to bed. What do you like inside yourself? What qualities do you appreciate about yourself? And after we have breakfast, we'll get into the topic of the day. But I like to start every show. I think almost 2 years now we've been doing this. So thanks for joining us for breakfast. Dr. Tiffanie, go ahead and start.
I am grateful that Nathaniel will be coming home today. His flight was delayed, so I was on the phone with him this morning, but he is at the airport, and I am grateful that he is on his way home, and Mia, and I will be together again.
Yay, for the holidays. I am grateful that I have a backup studio on my phone, and that when the main one is not working well, or when I'm traveling, I'm allowed to still connect with y'all on this show. And today is show number 1290. But who's counting? I'm grateful that I just keep on going. I think I'm a cross between that pink bunny, the Energizer bunny, and someone at Nestle, a VP at Nestle I met way early on. He called me a little hurricane. Now, I hope I'm not leaving destruction in my path, but that's my nickname. What else are you grateful for, Dr. Tiffanie?
And I am grateful that I survived my prep for my colonoscopy yesterday. And when you have to do that, you have to take what's called Go Lightly. And there's nothing light about it. It should just be called Go. Just go. Just go. And the way to tolerate it is that you put Crystal Light in it to give it
Oh,
flavor. Yes, it helps you tolerate it. So I used the pitcher-sized flavor Crystal Light. I used a whole box because I really needed it to have some flavor to tolerate that whole thing. But I was able to drink it all, and I was able to go and get my procedure done. So I'm thankful to have that behind me.
yes, literally behind you.
Yes, literally, literally and figuratively.
I could not resist. Yeah, I don't know what you think about those tests now that you actually take a sample yourself and mail it in. I've been doing that as an alternative to leaving things behind.
Mhm.
So,
But you know
do you?
what? Your health is your wealth. And as long as you're checking, because one of the first signs of colon cancer is blood in your stool. So you do want to do those tests. I know no one likes to do it, and it is a subject that no one wants to talk about. But as a physician, I have to encourage you to do those things because preventative medicine is the best medicine.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you because this is the MD side of the doctors in the house. Just in case you don't know who my fabulous co-host is, she's a veteran. She's a OBGYN licensed, that kind of MD doctor, and so much more. Poet, playwright, author, because of her. Uh, she had an accident, and she's a great example of what happens when you can't do what you were trained to do. Well, you still do what you need to do, and then you pivot. And so
Mhm.
she's a fabulous example of what I love to get you to drink the Kool-Aid on, which is life is way too short to just do one thing. So that's a little intro of my fab co-host. And I am grateful that she actually contacted me and saying happy birthday on my machine. And that was after she was a guest on my show. And that's how she became my co-host. So I love the fact that I get to connect with cool people in so many different ways. What else are you grateful for?
And I am grateful for the fact that I made a sweet potato pie for one of my members at my church, and she loved it so much. She's like, "Oh, it reminded me of my mom's recipe. It brought tears to my eyes and my brother's eyes." And I love the way that food can connect us. And I love the way that my food helps to encourage people and bless people and help people. And I just think that that is a marvelous thing and a wonderful thing. And as we begin to gather together for Christmas, I think it's important for us to remember that.
Absolutely. And I am back. Yay! I am grateful that I was born in the generation where technology wasn't so um, unfamiliar. I have a lot of compassion for those who came, even though I'm ageless, the generation before, who it's not easy to adjust to technology. So the fact that I know how to figure out how to come back in, I'm grateful for that. And I'm also grateful for Z, who is here. It's been a bit. I'm glad to see you, Z Queen. Grateful that you're in my cashew gallery today. What are you grateful for? One more, Dr. Tiffanie, and then we'll go to appreciation.
And I am grateful for being on the show and being able to interact with all the listeners and the Cashew Gallery because it is a privilege to be able to touch people's lives and encourage them and educate them on different subjects and help make their lives better 88% of the time.
Love it. Love it. All right, let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is what do you like about yourself? What do you like about yourself? And the reason why I do this is because uh,
we're good at now recognizing mental health, but the downside is we have a tendency to look for love in all the wrong places to soothe ourselves. We're walking around literally looking for likes, literally on social media, when the most important person to like you is you. So that's why we do this bottom of the bun exercise. What do you like about yourself? So when you're going to bed tonight, you're not thinking about who done me wrong or what I didn't get done, but things that you appreciate about yourself. So Dr. Tiffanie, what do you appreciate about yourself?
I appreciate the fact that I am blessed with another day of life and that I am able to celebrate, as Z put in the Cashew Gallery, the birth of Jesus Christ. Because as we celebrate, we know that the real reason for the season is Jesus.
I appreciate that. I have been on the air, on camera now for 659 consecutive weeks. And that is because I have a little thing called resilience. I'm triple tasking here. So, yeah, I appreciate my ability to just keep going no matter what. What do you like about yourself?
And I like that I'm able to organize. And I will give you an example. I was able to organize an event for my sorority, and we got together at the local winery called Canyon Crest Winery here in Riverside. And we did an event, and we had some dancing, and we had some line dancing and a little bit of wine tasting. And it was an event enjoyed by everyone, young and seasoned, because we don't say that anyone is old. We don't use that word. So it doesn't matter how old you are or what your age is, you were able to get up, you were able to dance or watch others dance, and it was an enjoyed time.
Fabulous. Speaking of old and being called old, a little a piece of advice for young men who lie about their age and make themselves older on one of those swiper things, and then have the audacity to say to me, I've always been attracted to older women. That is not the way for any young man. If you're just don't say anything, just look cute. You know, you might have a chance, but you say that and it's by just an aside.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's a term they use, MILF, MILF. The mom I'd like to, and so we don't want to use those things, and we just want to be appreciative
It's
of
not
the
a
seasoned
compliment.
woman. Yes.
Yeah,
While we might be like fine wine, you can just appreciate us from afar.
Yes, or not at all. I
That
just
part.
couldn't believe it. And then I said, there's nothing about being a cougar that I am at all interested in. Not even a jaguar. He didn't get it. But anyways, I appreciate that I can feel all of the feelings that come with being alive. I feel fully. When I'm mad, I'm mad. When I'm pissed off, I'm really pissed off. When I'm happy, I'm really happy. Not to give away the topic, I appreciate my ability to feel fully. And that's opposite to just feeling even healed or fine, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know
And
what
that's a
fine
good
stands
thing.
for. Effed up, irrational, neurotic, and emotional.
Well,
I
you
am not
know,
fine. I am happy right now. I am excited.
well, it's always good to be true to yourself, be honest with yourself, and let yourself go through everything that
All
you're
right,
going
your
through.
turn.
And I love the fact that I
Uh-oh.
can you hear me? Um,
It looks
I
like
love
we're
I love the
having more
fact
technical difficulties here.
well, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Keep.
I love the
Yep.
fact that I can love everything about myself and love everything about other people and appreciate our differences and agree to disagree and continue to maintain and respect those boundaries and that autonomy because I think that that is key and especially at this point in time. And I love the way that I can do that and still maintain my own appreciation of self.
Beautiful. I appreciate that I can focus on solutions rather than problems, and that I know I live in a friendly universe. No matter how it looks, no matter what happens, that everything's going to be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. I appreciate that about me. Thank you for joining us for breakfast. Thank you, Z, for coming and. I was going to use that word, but not in the way you meant it just now. There seems to be a ghost in my technology this morning, but thanks for joining us for breakfast. I hope that you continue this good life habit, this hashtag Blisscipline for the next 28 consecutive days with or without me, because that way you will create a good life habit and sandwich your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now it's time for the topic of the day on Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
here we go. Everything is awesome. That's the sign for topic. Go for it.
So, we know that right now everyone is running around trying to get prepared for some holiday, whichever holiday they choose to celebrate, be it Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever is in your culture to celebrate. But whatever it is, it tends to bring you some form of joy and happiness. So I wanted to break down joy and happiness and just look at that and talk about joy and happiness in general and what other things can bring us joy and happiness. So I thought it was a good time to talk about that because this is the season, regardless of a holiday, for joy and happiness. And we should carry that throughout the year and not just in December.
Great topic. And both of us are preaching to our respective choirs. I know that we absolutely value joy and happiness all year round, but particularly in this season. And as I like to do, to be real in the first half of the show, list out maybe some reasons why you're not feeling joy and happiness, or reasons that people give for not being happy or in joy. And when I spoke in Denver at Unity Denver on Sunday, I asked people to raise their hands. Are you worried about the state of the nation? Yes. Are you worried about your parents' health, your own health, your children's health, your children's future, the government, the economy, your job, and all of those things? Everybody raised their hands. And that was unhappy making. All of the focus that we have a habit of thinking, looking, talking, MS, meaningless scrolling about, can lead you to be
unhappy if you choose to focus on those things. So
Mhm.
that's the sort of the state of where it seems like, I don't know about you, Dr. Tiffanie, when you're shopping in line, I rarely hear anyone say anything that is happy making, joy making. It's complaining, it's horrible, tragic things, worry, fear, anxiety. So now that I brought everybody down, those
Mhm.
are the things that can take away from joy and happiness.
Well, there are a few others. There's depression, anxiety, trauma, chronic stress, chronic pain, substance abuse, lack of money, since you brought up shopping, because if they feel that they don't have enough resources to do what it is that they desire to do, that can be stressful. That can take away their joy and happiness. That's just the reality of the situation that we live in. A lot of people want to provide and sometimes they can't provide, and not necessarily gifts or anything. I'm talking about just daily living. They may not be able to buy the necessities, groceries, clothing, just the essentials that they feel that they need. So some of these things can lead to less joy and less happiness.
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
There we are. Okay. Absolutely. Now, I know you do research when you are looking up topics. Was there, so that we're on the same page, what would you say your definition of joy and happiness are? They the same thing, and how are you defining those?
Yes, of course. I did look it up. And because a lot of times people do use them interchangeably, but they are distinctly different. So, joy is essentially a feeling of great pleasure. And it comes essentially from like success or good fortune. And it's a sense of well being or gladness. It's more of an emotion of great delight. Whereas happiness can be endured, defined by an enduring state of mind that not necessarily consists of feelings of joy and contentment and other positive emotions, but it's also a sense of that one's life is meaningful and valued. And happiness tends to energize us, and it's also sought after as like a state of being. So there's a distinction. So they are intertwined, but they're definitely distinct. So if you look at happiness versus joy, happiness is typically more of a fleeting emotion, and it's often sparked by a particularly moment or event that brings a sense of excitement or exhilaration. Whereas joy, on the other hand, is more of a long lasting state of being characterized by contentment and satisfaction overall.
Hmm. Those are great. I know that when I define happiness, like people ask me all the time because of the book 8 Ways to Happiness, that, oh, I forgot to say I'm grateful I sold out, Dr. Tiffany, when I was in Denver. I even sold my purse copy, which is unbelievable. But anyways, but someone asked me, how are you defining happiness? And for me, it's having what I want and wanting what I have. So
Mm.
it's a little different than the definitions that I've heard, which is more a choice than a feeling. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I think that in the end, nobody can tell you what brings you joy, and no one can tell you what brings you happiness. I also found in my research that they said that there were three types of joy when I looked that up, and I was like, oh. And they said there's an emotional state, then there's the disposition or trait, and then there's the spiritual side. And I was like, okay, that does make sense, because when you look at it, you can say, okay, emotionally, I do have joy. It's a state of being, it's in your mind. And then there's the disposition where I sit and I have like a joyous spirit. And so that's the spiritual fruit side, when you look biblically. So you can divide it up into these three different parts. And so everyone has their own definition, and you can kind of categorize it into these three different parts and see where you decide you want to fall into it when you're stratifying your joy, per se.
Interesting. Did you have a quiz? Because if you don't have one, I have one.
No, I did not pull up a quiz.
Perfect. Guess who I went to find the quiz? My honorable moniker. I was introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah by Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, my big brother. And for those of you who don't know the story, she looked at me, looked down, looked up, and said, "Nice pants." And it took everything for me not to say, "Do you want them?" But she has a quiz on how happy are you? And it's not that long. And so I thought, this might be fun to actually.
I'm going to try to pull it up. Are you going to put the link in the comments?
I certainly am. And then that way, Z can also take this as well as my co-host. All right. Let's blow this up a bit. Is that good?
Yeah.
All right. It might seem a little, this is by Dr. Dan Baker, shall we say mood ring era, to suggest taking a happiness quiz. Most people, however, are used to being unhappy that they barely notice it. Using the latest research, devised an emotional checkup based on the theory that happiness develops from a number of internal qualities, including courage, love, humor, altruism, and a sense of freedom and purpose. This quiz will guide you in the right direction for finding happiness. All right. Number 1, I believe my life will truly begin when the right person or circumstances come along.
Never.
Yep, that's me too. I feel best when I give unconditionally to others. Frequently.
Frequently.
When I think about others in my life, I focus on those who have hurt or disappointed me. Infrequently. I can't say never because that wouldn't be honest. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. Infrequently.
Okay. When I think about people in my life, I focus on those I care about and love.
Frequently.
There's not enough time for taking care of myself.
Say sometimes.
Never or okay. I'm going to say infrequently. You can put your on yours.
I could do better.
I felt myself through difficult times with a strong positive attitude. Frequently. I take myself very, very seriously.
Infrequently.
Sometimes.
I don't take myself seriously. No.
Okay. I believe it's up to me to live my life fully and find meaning. Frequently.
Yes.
When things don't go well, I feel trapped or overwhelmed. Infrequently.
Infrequently.
Although life circumstances change, my beliefs and capabilities will allow me to survive and thrive.
Frequently.
Who wouldn't rather receive a gift than give one? I would rather get one.
I'll put sometimes.
I know. I really am sometimes too, because I do like the joy of giving. When I find something that somebody really loves. There's a spiritual power.
Yeah.
Pardon?
I said I like to give and get, but not often. I prefer to give than get.
Oh, okay. There's a spiritual power that I can turn to for comfort whenever I need. Frequently. Life is a big joke and I'm in the middle of it. Never. Fear keeps me from standing up for what I'm not. Never. You too?
Yep, never. I'm pretty outspoken.
Really?
No, I'm quiet and shy. Can't you
I
tell?
know, right? Sarcasm is another service you offer. I've grown emotionally, spiritually through difficult and painful life events frequently.
Frequently.
If I don't have enough money or love, I can't feel secure.
Never.
Yeah, I have to be honest.
Let's see. I grew up without money, so I felt
Right,
very
right,
secure.
right. I make taking care of my health a priority. I have to, it's like something between sometimes and frequently, most of the time, but not frequently.
As a physician, frequently.
People hurt my feelings. I want to say never, but I have to be honest, infrequently. Life is good. I really appreciate what are you on the hurt my feelings?
I would say sometimes, but I tend to just let it roll off my back.
Yeah. Life is good. I hate admitting that someone hurt my feelings. I want to be able to go talk to the hand, but I'm beginning to realize that I have to admit it
Mm-hmm.
as much as I don't like to.
Yeah.
Life is good. I really appreciate what I have frequently. I am unclear about the purpose of being a never. What about you?
I'm really unclear about the purpose. Yeah, no, never. I appreciate everything.
What matters most is enjoying relationships and moments.
Frequently.
Yeah. I would say if I said, relationships with myself first and then others, I would say frequently, but it doesn't say that. I just have too much to do.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
you do.
What, you're answering that for me?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'll change it. I got busted on. I love my life. I feel fulfilled frequently. All right, submit. Let's see how I did. Dun, 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 dun. Am I going to have to sign up?
Nope.
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 I don't see anything here.
Well, my school, you scroll up to the
Oh,
top.
there it is.
There it
Oh,
is.
sorry. Let's see. Below score 62. Your smile is your guide. If you scored between 50 and 72, congratulations. Consider yourself a happy person. What was your score?
I was 61. It says, it might seem a little, shall we say, mood ring era to suggest taking a happiness quiz. Many people, however, are so used to being unhappy that they barely
Oh, we
notice
did that
it.
already. That
Okay.
was just
The
move to the
beginning.
bottom. Below is
Okay.
your score.
So yeah, I was your smile is your guide. Consider yourself a happy person.
And my competitive side, I'm sorry. I beat you by 1.
You got me by 1 point.
I'm horrible. I'm so horrible.
We'll do a show on competitiveness.
Let's do, actually, that's a
At
good
the
idea.
beginning of the year, we'll do a show on competitiveness.
I'll win hands down. I just feel bad for my kids because breathing was a competition. I'm not perfect. There's my 12%. But anyways, thanks for joining us for this. I really like this quiz. And it's not just because it's from Oprah. Usually I criticize quizzes. So there you go. But it was a great quiz. Thank you to the doctor who wrote that. Maybe I'll reach out to him and see if he wants to come on the show. But especially since my score was good. But let me know, Z, if you took the quiz and what your number is. And if you get more than me, then forget it. Don't tell me. But we need to take a break for news, weather, and traffic. We're having a lot of fun in studio today. If you just tuned in, this is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And I'm very special Wednesday series. It's the perfect hump series to have because we'll get you over that Monday blues into the joy of life. And that is the topic today with doctors in the house, myself, and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
we're going to be right back. Chuck Woolery on the other side. We used to say in two and two, but you know me. It's peace in, peace out, world peace through, inner peace. Don't go away. We're going to hear from our sponsor of the show today and all of her great books after we break for news, weather, and traffic. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tiffanie Tate. Go to my website at www.drtiffanie.com. You can find out information on my book, Floetry, 108 Poetic Flows on Life, Love, and Liturgical Issues, great for tweens to adults. And I have 3 fabulous children's books that are wonderful for Christmas. There's Money Matters. That's my newest book. It teaches children about saving, investing, and tithing. Then you can also pick up my book, Bad Touching. It teaches children about safe touching and how to protect themselves and how to speak out. Then there's also Little Engine Mia Sings. It teaches children about how to protect themselves in case they get bullied. This is also available as an audiobook. All books are available on my website as well as Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Pick up your book today. It will make a wonderful Christmas gift for yourself or for someone you know, care about, and or love. Thank you.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, the station that leaves no listener behind. Number 1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my YouTube TV channel where you can actually listen and watch. Thanks to the cameras in the studio. We're so delighted that you're here. And we have a cashew gallery captain today. Her name is Z Queen, and she scored better than me on the happiness quiz, which I'm not.
Better than both of us.
So I think I'm going to have a talk with you. But anyways, I'm so glad that we are having a great time talking about the topic of the day, perfect for the holiday season of joy and happiness. And Dr. Tiffanie has taken us through some definitions. I've gotten real as per my habit. And then we just took a happiness quiz. If you missed any of that, please just free subscribe to my YouTube channel and look for show number 1290. All right. So what haven't we covered with joy and happiness? Go ahead.
I was going to say scientists have shown that there are 3 things that can make people most happy. So there are three keys: pleasure, engagement, and meaning. That's how they broke it down. So pleasure is essentially doing something that you enjoy. Engagement is feeling interested in activities and connected to others. And meaning is feeling like what you do matters.
Interesting. Pleasure. It's funny because I actually did pleasure as a topic on last Friday on Straight Talk. And we took the dark side of pleasure out and embraced so many things in life that you can get pleasure from, so that we're not just talking about sex and orgasms. We're talking about
deliciousness with taste of food, art that you enjoy and have pleasure from with your eyes. So I love that that is one of the
Mhm.
categories for sure. Pleasure. I'm on a one woman mission to take back pleasure from the grips of the negative connotations that, no offense, but much of religion has sort of uh, made pleasure a bad thing.
Well,
So,
it's funny that you say that because pleasure is actually a good thing, and even when you look at religion, if you read the Book of Solomon, even when it comes to intimacy, it was very filled very much filled with lots of pleasurable activities. And I'll leave it
mhm.
at that because this is, radio, public radio, and is that is not very G-rated, it's very X-rated if you read, Song of Solomon. I'll leave it at that.
but but that's not what is highlighted, is my point. With much religion, not all, but with much religion, it is
Mhm.
something that I know the way I was raised, it's dirty, don't talk about it, it's just automatically porn, bad. And so, kids learn that pleasure is something to be hidden and maybe not um, celebrated or learned about, because I have to say I learned the hard way, pun not intended, but I would have loved it if someone, took me aside and talked about the beauty in pleasure instead of the way that I learned about it. So I think that that is a moose on the table conversation, which is my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room. That if we want happiness and joy, that certainly pleasure is part of that equation.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. And whether it be pleasure in the bedroom, pleasure from exercise, pleasure from interacting with other people platonically, like going skating, going to the movies, exercising as a group, dancing as a group like I did. There are lots of different things that you can do that might bring you happiness, not that might fill you with joy, which is, again, the topic that we're having. So, as you look within yourself to figure out what it is that you desire, you can figure this out. When it comes to religion, it's good to be taught, but you also have to read the word for yourself and not always be spoon-fed. And I think that that's one of the keys to understanding everything.
Yeah, absolutely. The I had a thought this morning on how we can sabotage our own happiness and our own joy. It's just even first thing in the morning when you wake up and you start your day. If you have your phone plugged in, not near your bed, and you have the habit of picking it up and starting to do the MS, meaningless scrolling, and you see all the negative stuff and you begin already worrying or being angry or frustrated or anxious, or you don't like this and you don't like that and you don't like this person, you don't like that person, and gossip and envy and all of that. It's no wonder you don't want to get out of bed. It's no wonder people say, I don't want to have children, bring them in this world. But you're doing that to yourself. You are choosing to have the first things in your head be negative, angry, worry making ideas and topics. And no wonder you want to stay in bed. So if you want to change this new year for more joy and happiness, my first recommendation is to take this little puppy and plug it in outside of your room. So you're not that prone to pick it up. And then the first thing, instead of waking up and doing that, is just meditate and just breathe and just sort of be one with you, and then start the gratitude. And when you're like that, and then go brush your teeth. Don't stay in bed. The longer you stay in bed, the more difficult the momentum is to get out of bed. And when you get out of bed, I've noticed that when I, tidy up every day, I feel better. If I don't tidy up, it just sort of, Murphy's Law, it gets worse and worse. And then I don't want to do anything. And then dress up, with something fancy. Don't get into the same schleppy clothes, because that's also not going to fuel any feelings of happiness. So there are little things that you can do every single day to influence how happy you are. It's not a giant thing, right? The giant, oh, my new car. And how long does that last? Maybe 2 weeks until you get one ding. Or the new outfits you had to have. How long does that last? The one time you put it on. So I just feel like I wanted to give some practical Happy 88 tips on this topic.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that it's important to look within yourself and say, okay, what is it that I want? And is it practical to achieve what it is that I want? And as long as those two things are in alignment, start doing those things. If you want to spend more time with your family, do that and see if that makes you happy. If you want to give back to your community, go volunteer at the local mission, the local shelter, and help out and make a change in the world. You don't always have to give money if you don't have money. You can give your time. You can give your talent. You can bake something and donate it. You can do all kinds of things and surround yourself with other positive people. If you're around a Debbie Downer or a negative Nelly, sometimes that's going to drain your spirit and pull you down too. And so if you surround yourself with other positive people, that is going to help elate you and lift you up. All these things can help bring you happiness and fill you with joy, because if you know that you are doing something and making a change in the world, it doesn't always have to be an astronomical difference. There's I believe a parable that says a man threw a rock in the water and then it rippled forward. You can be that ripple and you can cause that significant change. All you have to do is something.
Absolutely. Wise words. It just starts, the joke is, because this is my 8 ways to happiness, people always say, so what if you had to do one way? I joke and say you have to buy the book if you want to know the 8 ways. But the number one fundamental way to be happy is a ch word. It's not a C word. It's a ch word. And it is truly choice. You can choose to be happy and you can choose to be unhappy. And people will say, well, if I have fame and fortune and money and stuff, I will be happy. Well, I don't think that's the formula. Otherwise, Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade and Robin Williams and the list goes on would still be here. So if happiness is a choice and it is an inside job, as Dr. Tiffanie is known to say, then it is a choice on what you focus on. And that is the formula that has worked for me. And I'm happy 88% of the time. Dr. Tiffanie mentioned that earlier. I forgot to mention that you cannot be happy 100% of the time or you're dead. You have to have the contrast. But if you're aiming for a high percentage, like 88, double 8, double good fortune, 8's a homophone in Chinese for good fortune, then that's a pretty great goal. But it starts with awareness. How happy are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is dead and 88 is fabulous, what percent happy are you? I can say right now I'm 88% happy because I have what I want and I want what I have. Dr. Tiffanie, how happy are you?
I would actually say I'm definitely a minimum 88, and sometimes I even spike to 98 depending on the circumstance, but then I come back down to 88 because life is a roller coaster ride and I am enjoying it and I throw my hands up and scream. And I want you to have that same joyous ride. And I think it's important to free your heart from hatred, let go of the pain that those who have hurt you have caused you, free your mind from worries and woo-saw your way through it. And just know that life is a roller coaster ride. It is going to have its ups and it is going to have its downs. But no matter what, it is going to keep moving forward and you can have joy and happiness and thrill and good fortune and it is going to be all right.
Beautiful. I am reminded of this little thing that I talk about called the dumbwaiter doors, because the roller coaster that you were saying, when things are not happy, don't do a spiritual bypass on them and say you're fine and that you're still happy. When you lose someone, you lose a job, you have someone hurt you or insult you, or you get hurt physically, that's not a time where you go, I'm so happy, I'm so happy. You know, that's not good for you either. Denial's not a good strategy. But when I am unhappy or upset or angry or pissed off, I will be fully in that feeling. Because if I don't allow myself that, that's the dumb waiter. If I don't allow myself negative emotions, I can't also feel positive emotions. I'm not saying we should all be like yo-yo bipolar, you know, all the way up and all the way down. But as life gives us things to celebrate, we celebrate. When life gives us things to learn from that are a little painful, feel the pain. When life gives us well-meaning people who are more mean than well, get pissed off, but just don't stay there. I think that that's the most important thing that I wanted to highlight when it
Oh,
comes to feelings.
absolutely. And I will say this, when I was medically retired, I did not want to be medically retired. I was very angry. I was very sad. I was very depressed. I did not have happiness and I did not have joy. And that was when I began to write my poetry. And that gave birth to my first book. Poetry, 108 Poetic Flows on Life, Love, and Liturgical Issue. This book was written out initially out of pain, but it transitioned to become a book of joy and happiness. And so the poetry within that book will take you on a journey. And a lot of people who have read it can feel that and are encouraged by the poetry within that book because they feel that journey. And so when you look within yourself, it's okay to feel the trauma. It's okay to feel the pain, but know that it can possibly give birth to something better. So it's okay to experience your journey and use it to help propel you to something better.
Beautifully said. Important, important, important point. My formula is always past the pain. If you can work past the pain, is power. So that's my hope for you, because the power of joy and happiness is limitless. I'm going up. Hashtag UP, unlimited possibilities. That is my wish for you as well. Dr. Tiffanie, final word, and we'll take it out.
The 3 P's to happiness: purpose, perspective, and positivity. Find your purpose, find your perspective, and stay positive, and everything will be just fine.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us today. This is Doctors in the House on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And I think, is this our last show before
for the
Christmas?
year. Yes. This is our last show for Christmas.
Okay, because we'll be dark on Christmas. So
And New Year's.
And New Year's. Wow. I'm not going to see you for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Yeah. Wow.
At least 2
okay.
weeks.
at least 2 weeks. I still am trying to figure out a way to get to that peach cobbler. But we really do wish you the very, very, very happiest and joyful season with your loved ones, with yourself first. And gosh, we'll see you in the new year.
Mm-hmm. Joy to the world.
It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go, take us out.
And have the best day ever.